Let's go into the new Epstein files. Did you guys hear about the new Epstein files, Chad? They're bad. The new files that dropped, it ain't looking too good. House Democrats release Epstein emails referencing Trump and victims. House Democrats released emails from Jeffrey Epstein's estate, obtained via a subpoena as part of 23,000 files that reference President Donald Trump spending time with a victim and knowing about Epstein's underage girls. The emails include a 2011 exchange between Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and communications with author Michael Wolff, leading Democrats to demand full Justice Department disclosure. Republicans argue the release distorts evidence pointing to victim Virginia Giuffre's prior statements exonerating Trump of involvement in Epstein files. So one side is saying, hey, is our president a pedophile supporter or a pedophile? Another group is saying, he's been framed, and you're taking it out of context. So let's get to the bottom of it. How do we ever learn the objective truth? Is the objective truth of this situation ever going to be presented to us? Like, is it always going to be debatable? Where is it? I've seen so much. Like, what about the freaking love letter between him? Do y'all remember the whole love letter and the thing where they painted and Epstein was like, you know, you and I, we have a lot in common, right? Maybe you and I aren't so different, friend. Having like an anime send-off background, like that was a thing, right? That was objectively. I'm not trying to spin no nothings. Objectively, these niggas was sending friendly, overly friendly messages. Birthday letters. Jeffrey Epstein alleged Donald Trump spent hours with the sex trafficking victim, and new email from 2011 released by House documents. Quote, I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Rep. Eric Swalwell saying if Trump had sex with an underage girl, should he still be our president? What type of fucking question is that? Why do we have people in office asking this dumbass question? Like, what do you mean if? What if I said no? Are you going to be like, okay? Like, what the fuck? Why are you framing this in a question? I understand why people be hating the Democrats. Democrats be hating Democrats. If you want to know who hates Democrats more than Republicans, Democrats. Democrats be straight up hating Democrats. I don't think they mean that as a question, probably legally covering themselves. But it's just, in my opinion, it's a dumbass question, right? It's like, bro, just say what you need to say. Don't over here being like, if the moon falls into the earth, do you think that we would all be alive? No, grow some balls. I just want somebody to have the balls to just say it. Trump will say it. Trump will say directly what he's thinking and say exactly what it is. And I want somebody from the Democratic side just to be like, just fucking say the shit. Stop dancing around it, bitch. I have to dance around it because I'm a normal civilian. Okay? I am a normal civilian, so I have to dance around the politics between these guys. I gotta dance around it so I don't get sued because I don't got infinite money. But if you one of these people, you got infinite money, you can take it's literally your job to say these things with your chest. You know what I mean? Anyway, what is this? Email number 1 is a direct correspondence between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And it's from Jeffrey to G-Max. Her name was G-Max. This is how he speaks. I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim spent hours at my house with him. So a victim spent hours with Trump. This was April 2nd, 2011. So one of the victims spent hours at Epstein's house, is what Epstein said. They had to kill this nigga, didn't they? They had to kill him. I don't think Epstein killed himself. I have a feeling My spider senses are tingling. And then Ghislaine Max said, I have been thinking about that. ... From his name was gvacation@gmail.com. Email number 2 is a direct correspondence between Jeffrey Epstein and Michael Wolff. From gvacation to Michael Wolff from Epstein. Victim Mar-a-Lago. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. What do you mean by that? What does this even mean? What does it mean Trump said he asked me to resign? What does that mean? And why is he talking like this? Why is there like a period right here? Never a member ever. There's a space right here. There's double spaces. There's spaces in between. The periods have, wait, are they bullet points that are not bullet pointed? It's like dot, space, space. Trump said, comma, never remember ever, dot, space, space, dot, space, space. Dot, space, space, dot, space, space. That looks intentional. I don't think that's bad grammar. These people aren't dumb, right? Dot, space, space, dot, space, space, dot, space, space, comma. He's this weird dude that put 2 spaces after a comma. Is this just old nigga shit? You know how, did y'all know back in the day? Did you guys know that back in the day, they used to put like 2 spaces after a period? They try to make that a thing. Does anybody know this? Does anybody remember this? Does anybody know of the ever elusive double space after periods? Email number 3. That's just MLA format. Yo, fuck MLA. I never did that. MLA format, 2 spaces at the period. I never did it. Never. And I passed all my MLAs. It's the same niggas that try to get you to learn cursive. I can understand learning cursive for an art perspective to kind of challenge your brain or some shit, you know, or for your signature. But imagine writing cursive for the rest of your life during the age of typewriting and typing. The fuck? Long ago, they wanted us writing fucking letters in cursive like we're still. I don't even know what that means. I still don't understand it. The only thing I can think about cursive is that it was a secret art class. And it was also to try to help you develop your brain in some kind of way. I'm sure there had to be a reason why cursive existed. Email number 3 is a direct correspondence between Jeffrey Epstein and Michael Wolff. From Michael Wolff to Epstein. I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way. What the fuck? Does he? So Epstein hung himself, but in this email, Michael Wolff is over here saying, let him hang himself and you can hang him. Also, this isn't the first. Let's start the chain down here. The chain starts down here. December 15th, 15 days before New Year's Eve, 10 days before Christmas. Okay. Michael Wolff said, I hear CNN is planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in a scrum afterwards. I want to look this up. December 15th, CNN. Hold up. Let's look it up. December 15th. I found it. No, I didn't find it. White House responds to the newly released Epstein files. Okay. I found some stuff for today. So, okay, let's go back. Let's go back to the email. Hold up. If we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? They said, how do we hide this? This was at 11:52 p.m. This nigga was on demon mode. You know what I do at 11:52 p.m. on a Tuesday night? I'm sleeping. I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or the house, that gives you valuable PR. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. Or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt. Yo, chat. This is how niggas move. Corruption. This is how they move. These people who are so powerful are playing chess. They're fucking anime characters. They're fucking Lelouch from Code Geass over here trying to figure out how to get leverage. They're villains. They're villains. All of them. They're all villains. You guys remember Death Note? Kira versus L. This is what they got here. How do we get President Trump to support us now that we have evidence? He doesn't know. He doesn't know, but I'm going to kill him when he's in prison. It's like, checkmate, Epstein. It looks like you. Yo, Epstein got fucking, that's crazy. I cannot compare Epstein to L. That's crazy word. But that's how they move, man. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey's a great guy. Jeffrey, he's a great guy. I don't know much about Jeffrey. He's a great guy. I've seen him around. I don't think he did the things that people are saying. But yeah, Jeffrey, great guy. Swell guy. I like him. I don't know much about him. I like him. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has got a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness. It's right there, chat. The playbook. At this point, you have to either A, be too ignorant to read, or B, know exactly what's happening and just be purposely gaslighting people, because it's quite literally here. The playbook. They're literally saying political correctness. This is the playbook. You can't be too dumb to read. Or are you saying they're purposely not reading because they're too smart on knowing what's happening? They're pleading the fifth on purpose. They're trying not to be educated so they don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Of course, blah, is a great guy. He's got a raw deal, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime.
All right, we do have breaking news in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, minutes ago, literally, releasing emails that they say were written by Jeffrey Epstein that explicitly, specifically mention Donald Trump by name and in context that we really haven't heard before. Let's get right to Caitlin Collins, who's got this reporting. Caitlin, what are you learning?
Yeah, John, these are emails that show Jeffrey Epstein mentioning Donald Trump by name multiple times in private correspondence that he had with people, including Ghislaine Maxwell, obviously his longtime associate and accomplice, and also the author Michael Wolff, in a time span of about the last 15 years or so in these emails. Now, these are coming out from the House Oversight Committee. They had issued a bipartisan subpoena to Jeffrey Epstein's estate, John, as you know, earlier this year. And so they've gotten their hands on a trove of...
So the House Committee Democrats issued a subpoena to the Jeffrey Epstein estate. The Epstein estate has all of Jeffrey Epstein's information. They subpoenaed it. How is this document only coming out right now? What is the... I don't get it. And why just the few of these documents? Why is it... What is taking so fucking long? I don't get it. What am I missing? Give this to one Redditor and we would have a 5-page Google Docu that summarized everything. Because a lot of them are in it. Oh my God. They are. Democrat just got sworn in, gave the last deed of signature. I heard. So there was one last Democrat. I heard people was saying that this government shutdown was also a way so they couldn't swear in this new person. I think she's a woman who's a Democrat that could basically flip the entire thing and make it so that they have to release the files. Is that true? Is that how what that was? We got what? And she's here? Because here's how I feel. For people who are still saying, you Republicans and you Democrats, you Republicans, you Democrats. First of all, idiot, I want to get all the people that touched kids. All of them. All of them. I don't care if it's Clinton. I don't care if it's Obama. I don't care if it's Bush. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's your mama. I don't care if it's Goku. I don't care. If you touch the kids, I want to get the people who are touching the kids. I'm not sitting here still trying to play football and root for my favorite football team when there are people who are out here touching kids, not even just touching kids, not even just being pedophiles. It's also sex trafficking. Okay? It's literally an organized crime around sex trafficking children in order to perform sexual acts with grown men and Ghislaine Maxwell and then kill them. And then a lot of them died. Imagine that being your life. So I'm not playing football. I'm here trying to figure out who are these bad people. But it keeps getting turned. Instead of, why can't we unite against, that's what I'm confused. I think the scary part is either the ignorance or the willful knowing. And people are trying to capitalize anyway by protecting scary people that do bad things to children. Please get Clinton. We already know how Clinton moves. We already know how Bill Clinton moves. Oh, your precious Bill Clinton. Get his ass. What? Why? I don't. This is what I don't understand. Why is it that some people, I think I've seen on the Republican side, are like, well, Clinton's on the files too. You know what? Like I don't understand why they think that a large majority of Democrats also want to get the all of them gone. All of them. There's no one out here that I can see that's out here being like, Bill Clinton, not my precious Bill Clinton, bro. Ain't no way. He's never done a bad thing ever. The whole thing with him and Monica Lewinsky, it was fake news. Generally scared his people won't believe the files are real at this point is beyond. So here's my thing. Here's what I'm not even scared about. Here's my thing, chat. Number one, nothing is going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. Number two, I think that's it. I think nothing's going to happen. I don't think there is a number two. I think I had a number two, but it doesn't matter because number one, nothing's going to happen. I think at this point, right? You have to just believe that everything that comes out about Trump, if it's bad, you have to believe that it's made up. Every single one. It has to be a lie. This has to be a campaign. That this literally has to be a campaign. It's kind of like how people didn't believe that Hassan shocked his dog. And after the first video, they were like, nah. After the second one, guys, after the third one, guys, can we just forget about this? Guys, please. Guys, can't we? 10 times, bro. 10 videos, 10 clips, 10 shocks. And people were just like, look, you guys just hate Hassan. You guys just hate. And it was like, bro, I don't hate Hassan. I'm literally just looking at the information. So it's like, I think after a certain point, people get exhausted and they're just like, no matter what you say about this person and their mind, they are exonerated. No matter what you say. No matter what you say. And that's scary, bro. Antique, thank you for the sub. Thank you for the gifting. Appreciate that.
Documents, and these are emails that included Jeffrey Epstein on them. They were sent either to him or from him that mentioned Donald Trump before he was in office and also while he was in office during his first term. And I want to walk you through these emails of what exactly we are reading in Jeffrey Epstein's own words in these emails that have been released by the House Oversight Committee. And in one of them, Jeffrey Epstein says, and I should note, Trump did not send or receive any of these messages. He's not a party to these emails, John, but these are emails from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. This is one from April 2nd, 2011.
These ones we just read?
This email, Jeffrey Epstein.
So we just read these, okay?
Writes to
Let's see what they have to say about
it. Says,
it.
Quote, I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. There's a name that's redacted, which the House Oversight Committee has said is a victim of Jeffrey Epstein's. Obviously, we have not been able to independently confirm that because her name is redacted from this email. But they say redacted spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. Ghislaine Maxwell responds to that email, John, and says, quote, I have been thinking about that. Now, there's no
So wait a minute. Epstein, he's a guy that collects evidence. He collects videos. He's Diddy. He collects videos. He sets up his people, gets them to commit crimes at his island, keeps the footage and the crimes and all this stuff, and then uses it to blackmail. The guy that does this with multiple people, that's been proven to be doing this, proven blackmailer, dies. And the narrative is that he hung himself. And that's it. GG's, we're done. We're cooked. I think, chat, we're cooked. I mean, is there any other answer to the fact that we're cooked? It's kind of like, you know what it's kind of like? You know when you were a kid and you were lying to like cover up for the fact that you did something bad in your parents? You were trying to lie, but your parents knew that you were lying, right? Your parents knew, but you're trying so hard to, but like these old people are the same way. Like they're the same young kids. They're just older and they're just trying to cover their tracks with these lies, except for they have power and money and can murder you. But it's the same thing. It's like clear as day, bro. Can you imagine kids with guns and money? Take the brain of a kid, take a bunch of children, and I give them money, power, and guns. Man, we're cooked.
Context for that message in this release of what we're getting. Obviously, this was a time span, and this was about 3 years after Jeffrey Epstein had accepted what is now known as that sweetheart deal that only got him a few months in prison, and something that came under a ton of scrutiny during Donald Trump's first term in office.
What's up, Dr.
Because
Swellner?
of his then Labor Secretary Alex Acosta, who helped negotiate that plea deal, that sweetheart deal for Jeffrey Epstein at the time.
So Jeffrey Epstein, who has blackmail on everybody, got a sweetheart deal? Yeah, they had to kill him. They had to kill him. They were probably like, this man has all of us. All of us. There was like a chamber of like 30 people. There's a group chat. Except for the group chat is Outlook. Instead of being Facebook, it was Outlook. They were like, we got to get rid of Epstein. He's got a video on all of us. And you got judges. You've got presidents. You've got princes. You've got ministers. You got prince. You got celebrities. You got the Scientologist. You got niggas on niggas on niggas on niggas. Got Oprah. Yes, ex Prince Andrew. You got them all, and they all in this meeting like, yeah, we got to do it. Omni, not to be weird, but would you consider taking me to Omni Island and making me your bitch forever? Sure. Gift me 5 subs and I'll take you there. Everyone and their mom doing deals with the devil. I know. It's weird. It's so weird.
So that's the context of this. Came about 3 years after he had negotiated that plea deal, John. And there's also other emails that have been released by the committee this morning, including between Jeffrey Epstein and Michael Wolff. People will remember Michael Wolff, of course, the author who wrote a book on the inner workings of Trump's West Wing back in 2018 during his first term. He is someone who has talked at length about his own correspondence with Jeffrey Epstein, published audio recordings of those conversations between the two of them. And in another email, and this seems to be a reference to Donald Trump saying that he kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago club.
Okay.
And Jeffrey Epstein writes to Michael Wolff and says, quote, Trump
kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of the Mar-a-Lago club. And that's the reference. That's the context.
Said he asked me to resign. And he adds, John, never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Now, again, we don't have the context of this email, but John, that comes as in recent months, we've heard President Trump himself and the White House say that Jeffrey Epstein was kicked out of Mar-a-Lago for being a creep. And Trump himself told reporters on Air Force One that he was trying to poach women, he and Ghislaine Maxwell, from the Mar-a-Lago spa. And that was why they had such a falling out.
Okay, so Wait, so this email is saying that Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago because Jeffrey Epstein was trying to traffic women out from Mar-a-Lago. He was trying to pick women out like, ooh, you would be a good, ooh. He was at the Mar-a-Lago like, ooh, yeah, I want that one, I want that one, I want that one, I want that one. And Trump was like, bro, you can't be in here with that, okay? On the island, that's where you can do. But you can't come up to the Mar-a-Lago. You got to think about this, chat. If Epstein was bold enough to be out here picking women out here, that means that Donald Trump knows how this nigga works. Because Epstein felt comfortable enough to move like that. And these predators, they move in flocks. When is Kendrick ever going to be wrong? When is that song? They Not Like Us. These predators, they move in flocks. So when there's one predator, there's never just one predator. There's never just one predator. There's never just one predator. These predators, they move in flocks. They like, oh yeah, we all predators here. Yeah, we're all, yeah. You and I, we're more alike than we think. Yeah, brother. Yeah. They move in flocks. So here's the thing. If they're sitting on a smoking gun, right? Who has the smoking gun? Like, if there's any hard evidence, right? What is stopping the House Democrats after the subpoena? What exactly is stopping them from just saying, bam, right? Like, if you're sitting on the hard evidence that Trump did what he did, why would you strategically sit on it? It's too late. They're trying to make people forget about the Epstein files, but the general people are stupid. Okay. But there's this thing, what is it called? The Dunn-Curran effect or whatever. What's the effect called? The Streisand effect. The more you try to get us to forget about the Epstein files, the more we will never forget about the Epstein files. It's the more you keep trying to brush it away, the more we're going to keep looking into it. The Streisand effect. Oh Lord, is it against the law technically to report the wrongdoing, or is it just morally wrong? I don't know. If they can't get him on aiding or participating, then they can only get him on the public opinion. I don't know.
And why he ultimately asked Jeffrey Epstein to leave the Mar-a-Lago club. Now, there's also a third email in here, John, and this is, again, in regards to Jeffrey Epstein and Michael Wolff. And Michael Wolff emails Jeffrey Epstein, and this is back in December 15th, 2015, so the height of the 2016 campaign, just to put that in perspective for you. And it was the day of a CNN Republican primary debate. And Michael Wolff says, quote, "I hear that CNN is planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in a scrum afterwards." And Epstein wrote, "If we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be?" Michael Wolff responded at length, John. I'll summarize it, but he said in regards to Trump, "I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the House, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt." Now, I'll note, John, we looked at the transcript of that CNN debate from December 2015. There's no mention of Jeffrey Epstein in there. And of course, as I mentioned, Donald Trump himself is not a party to these emails. But what this shows is Jeffrey Epstein mentioning Donald Trump by name multiple times at a moment here in Washington when their relationship has come under incredibly intense scrutiny, John.
Kaylin, as you...
Okay. So you're telling me a really bad guy, or you're friends with this huge bad guy, friends, besties, and then this bad guy is trying to figure out how to spin a narrative, and then he gets a sweetheart deal. I touched some grass this morning.
Mentioned multiple times, we just don't have the context surrounding any of these emails. But that first email you read, the language absolutely jumps out to me. This is April 2nd, 2011. Epstein writes to Ghislaine Maxwell, "I want you to realize the dog that hasn't barked is Trump, blank." And blank here is one of the alleged victims of Jeffrey Epstein. A victim spent hours at my house with him being Trump. He has never once been mentioned. Now, again, we don't have the context.
Chat, victim of sex trafficking, Epstein, spending hours with our current president. So now the wheels are turning. The wheels are turning. Okay? The wheels are turning. The wheels are turning. How? I'm trying to think of, now we think, the Sleepy Chris, thanks for the 15 months, baby. Let's think about this. Let's say we're trying to defend Trump. Well, these emails could have been made up. Maybe this whole context was just lies in order to set Trump up. Maybe Epstein was lying up. This whole back and forth between these two was a lie. Can you prove it? Maybe he wasn't at the house. Maybe he was at the house, but he wasn't around her. Maybe he was around her at the house, but they weren't doing anything. Maybe he was at the house with her and they weren't doing anything. And also he didn't know what was happening to her. Maybe Trump was a secret CIA operative who was sent to infiltrate and become best friends, but they weren't best friends. He was a secret CIA operative to bring down Epstein. That's the one I would go with. If I was the government, I'd be like, if I was the government, guys, the reason why I've all lied to you is because I was a secret agent here to bring down Epstein. Any mention of my name was because I was involved in the takedown of him. And I was pretending to be his best friend to get close to him in order. Don't hand over the new script. I guarantee you that they've already considered this script. Okay, I'm guessing some random black dude streaming on Twitch.tv is not suddenly giving him the idea of the century. Wait a minute. Plus, I think they did use that one already, didn't they? Wasn't Secret Operative already kind of used? They've already. Yeah, so I didn't make that one up. That's. Oh, geez. What if Trump found out, and this is why he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago? I don't know. Look, chat. For those of you guys who are a little concerned that I'm entertaining the other idea, okay. The point is that you have to you have to step out of your own comfort zone, and you have to think like other people. You have to empathize. Okay. You empathize in order to better understand how people work. Don't just be like, no, why would you? You gotta, and it's also good to, you know what is good? It's good to empathize with people you don't like. In fact, I think one of the best lessons that someone could have taught me a long time ago is learning how to empathize with your enemies and people you don't like. Not for their benefit, but so that you can clearly see how they were created. And when you can see how a person was created, then you don't have to take it personal. Then you can start to see, oh, you are a product of X, Y, and Z. And this led you into these series of events and actions led you into becoming this type of person. Now I understand it. You are a narcissist. And now they can't narcissist you because you understand how narcissists work. And once you understand how people kind of work in specific ways, you can be like, oh, you're just trying to protect your ego. Oh, you're just trying to protect your image of yourself. Oh, you're just trying to X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. And then you can act accordingly. Because again, once you understand how people work, then you can't really get fooled by it. You can kind of accept it. So it's good to empathize. Don't think of empathy as sympathy. Empathize with the buff dancing black guy? I have. So here's me empathizing with the buff black guy. He doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to go get a job. He's known for dancing on emails and saying shark bite, and he's getting followers and TikToks and money for being a fool. So why would he stop? Why stop? Because it makes me uncomfortable. Why would he stop collecting checks? For what? Moral? Sorry, guys. And it's too late. What is he going to apologize? Sorry, guys. This was probably not good for black people. Let me step back. It's not going to happen. No. Okay. Self-preservation wins overall. Okay. People for self-preservation over everything. Okay. So secure the bag at all costs for some of these people. And he's not going to stop securing the bag. And sorry, guys, this was bad. I'm going to go get a job. He's not going to do that. And I wouldn't either. I wouldn't stop. He did seem like he tried to do Johnny Bravo and try to stick to other some stuff as well. But in this economy, I don't think he wants to stop collecting his checks for going around the world traveling and saying shark bite. He's got it made. I empathize. And he don't care. He's good.
Surrounding that, Caitlin, but this kind of language from Jeffrey Epstein himself, how often has Donald Trump, what has Donald Trump said about contact he may have had or time he may have allegedly spent with some of Epstein's alleged victims?
Yeah, and John, just to be clear, the woman, the person whose name is redacted here was redacted by the House Oversight Committee before they put this out. That has been a huge point of focus as people have demanded the release of these documents, is to be able to protect the survivors and the victims. We have not been able to independently verify who this person is. The committee is the one doing the redaction.
Jesus. So we have to protect the victims because if their names get leaked, then they are not safe. Damn. Imagine, this is scary. You were one of the people at the Epstein files. You're one of the victims and you're alive. And you know full well what Trump did. If that was the case, imagine that. The president of the United States and a fucking prince from another country. And you know. Oh my God. Oh man. It's a sick world these days. What's up, Morgana? It's a sick world we live in.
Here. But obviously he is referencing someone who Jeffrey Epstein says in this email from 2011 that spent time with Donald Trump at his house. And so we've asked the White House for comment on this morning. Obviously, these are emails that predate his time in office this term. They span about 15 years, this correspondence that's being released. And Trump has denied that he knew anything about what Jeffrey Epstein was doing and the sex trafficking of young women. And he said that he wasn't aware of that at the time. And obviously, Trump himself has not been accused of any wrongdoing. It's very important that we make that clear here, John. But of course, the question.
So he's been accused of no wrongdoing, right? But if I'm not mistaken, objectively, my man's got 34 felonies, right? If I'm not, how many felonies? Let me just make sure
has been when it comes to.
Let me just make sure I objectively. Trump was convicted of 34 felonies, but people are going to say that all 34 of the convictions was just a fake attack, though. 34 felony counts of falsified business records. So we're going to believe that this millionaire, billionaire muggle wasn't falsifying business records. Super entitled rich man, squeaky clean.
Regards to the Justice Department and what they've released about what they know, and Adelita Grijalva is being sworn in today. She's the new House Democrat from Arizona, and she's expected to be that 218th signature. And so the pressure has been building on not just Democrats, but Republicans here in Washington to release more information about what the Justice Department has. And so looking at that email, obviously, will likely only increase that pressure to do so. And you're right, John, we don't know the context of that. But obviously you can read Jeffrey Epstein's words in and of itself, and take away obviously what you will from that.
Oh yeah, it begs many questions to be asked, perhaps to the president or the White House. You've already put this to
Okay, so we have another response here, apparently from CNN, and they've responded.
Much more on this.
Trump has responded. White House responds to newly released Epstein files. The White House
just out with a new blistering response for Democrats after they released emails written by Jeffrey Epstein that reference President Trump. Here's Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
It is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government.
Why are White House officials then meeting with Representative Boebert in an effort to try?
Wait, she said it's not a coincidence that the Democrats released these files on the morning of reopening the government. So this was a strategic, like, breadcrumb. Like, now that the government's open, let's throw in a little bit of Epstein files evidence. Is that what? And also, I'm confused. Wasn't there like a whole thing where they were all holding notebooks? Does anybody remember that, chat? What was that about? Remember they were all holding notebooks? Or they were passing these notebooks to everybody, and it was like the Epstein files. Remember? I'm not living in a fake life. That wasn't a dream. Wasn't there a thing where her and everybody was holding a bunch of notebooks that apparently was supposed to have Epstein files in it? They were going to get ready to release it, and then it just never happened? What happened with that? Influencers. What happened? Were they about to just be like, all right, guys, here we go. Let's all read this. And here's all the information on Epstein files. And were they about to just come out with these fake Epstein files? You know what's crazy, guys? Chat. Oh my God. You know what's crazy, guys? Final Fantasy Tactics. I don't know if you guys were playing it or if you have played it, the new one or whatever, the one that just came out. I'll give you some lore really quickly, okay? Part of the story has to do with this book. It's called The Scriptures of Germanique. And in this book, The Scriptures of Germanique, it's a book that talks about the truth about the church and how people were praising this guy named Saint Ajora as some god. But the book, The Scriptures of Saint Germanique, literally exposed that Saint Ajora was just a regular ass human being. Oh, you talking about elite ball knowledge right now? And I am. Final Fantasy Tactics. These scriptures. So the church was built on a false lie and a false god. And a lot of members and the high profile members of the church knew. They knew, and they still continue to spread the word and the faith of Saint Ajora, even though that they knew about the Scriptures of Germanique and Saint Ajora's true identity. Because it became so big that they had to push the narrative and keep people believing in faith and God and Saint Ajora. So the point that I'm trying to make is these scriptures, this book, the guys at the end are trying to secure this book. This book needs to be destroyed and or hidden at all costs, because if not, it will completely destroy the church. Completely destroy it. Completely destroy it. Did you guys know that when it comes to conquering, okay, you can conquer people with the sword, you can conquer people with words, and you can conquer people with religion, okay? There were people, Christians, people of all different types of faiths. They would go out spreading faith, spreading the word. And so they were just, religious people. Nothing wrong with, religious people coming into your town, right? Nothing wrong with that, right? Good, right? Then suddenly everybody in your state, in your province, is of one understanding of this certain religion that ties back to a certain country. And now you are an affiliate of the church. And now you guys support the same religion. Therefore, you are now have been conquered religiously. So there's many ways to conquer people or to influence people or to control people. And a lot of people have used religion to weaponize that. It can be used as a weapon. So just a little food for thought, just something that you guys can sift through, you know. Yes, Snow Bunny mind control, except for the Snow Bunny is Jesus Christ.
Try and get her to not sign this petition calling for the release of the files.
Doesn't it show transparency that members of the Trump administration...
Let's go back to this. We need to rewind this. Hold up. Sorry. I got my ADHD.
Here's Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
It is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news.
Leaked the emails to the fake news
This morning, ahead of Republicans reopening the government.
Why are White House officials then...
God damn. So it's just the fake news? The fake news! Who's the real news? If there's fake news, then who's the real news? I love that Omni has the green gaslighting. Yes, man, stop gaslighting me. I thought you guys were gaslighting me. We were all quiet.
Meeting with Representative Boebert in an effort to try and get her to not sign this petition calling for the release of the files.
So Representative Boebert, if I understand, that's the last person that they were trying to basically get in.
Reopening the government.
What up, Retro? Skill Squad.
With Representative Boebert in an effort to try and get her to not sign this petition calling for the release of the files.
Doesn't it show transparency that members of the Trump administration are willing to brief members of Congress whenever they please?
What kind of non-answer was that? That's insane. Oh, I got that's insane. This is the kind of mental mind tricks your parents use. Mom, why did I see you drink orange juice out of the glass when you told us that we shouldn't drink orange juice out of the glass? Why would you question me when I'm the person that puts the food on your table and the clothes on your back? Why would you question me, the person that takes care of you? Wait, what does that have to do with drinking the orange juice, Mom? I saw you drink the... Pow! Slap! Hit you with some ice members. Oh, no! Oh, no. Oh, no. They really out here doing it. They really out here doing it. Oh my God.
Doesn't that show our level?
Calling for the release of the files.
Doesn't it show transparency that members of the Trump administration are willing to brief members of Congress whenever they please? Doesn't that show our level of transparency?
In one
She didn't answer the question. Oh. No, it doesn't show your level of transparency, bro. You not answering questions makes me feel like you're not being transparent.
One email from 2011, Epstein writes, quote, "The dog that hasn't barked is Trump."
We know this.
Witnessed and Boebert. What have you learned about it?
Yeah, Brianna, two things stood out to me from that briefing. Obviously, Caroline Leavitt was saying that they believe these emails prove that President Trump did nothing wrong. Obviously, he isn't accused of any wrongdoing. We made that clear in our reporting this email. They just shed new light.
They literally have to keep saying they're not accusing him of any wrongdoing. Because if they don't, Trump is going to sue these niggas for $10 million and win. Okay? They have to be super careful. Trump has already been suing news medias. If they say it, Trump is suing, and then he's going to win, and then he's going to use that money to pay for his ballroom.
On Jeffrey Epstein mentioning Donald Trump multiple times in private correspondence over the span of about 15 years time. They did not deny that Donald Trump spent time with Virginia Giuffre at Jeffrey Epstein's house. That is obviously what Jeffrey Epstein was insinuating in that email to Ghislaine Maxwell from April 2011. But obviously they were critical, highly critical of Democrats on the House Oversight Committee for releasing these emails that they got as a result of that bipartisan subpoena. But it was a pretty short briefing, Brianna. Obviously it was about 1:24.
That was it? That's all she said? She didn't say nothing else. She just said, aren't we being transparent? And that it was fake. That was it. It was one sentence. Why would the Democrats drop fake news on the morning of the Republicans opening the shutdown? Basically trying to make it feel like it's an attack, and it's being done tactically and not answering the questions.
5 or so when the press secretary came
What's up,
out
Loki?
with the FBI director, Kash Patel, who gave an opening statement that was unrelated. It had to do with fentanyl and China. He left without taking questions. And then Caroline Leavitt delivered her own opening statement before taking questions. So relatively few questions in that briefing there, but obviously several of them were about these new emails from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell and to the author Michael Wolff. And the other thing that stood out is that meeting that we exclusively reported on here at CNN, where the White House was hosting Lauren Boebert, a Republican congresswoman of Colorado, who has said, yes, she agrees that the White House and the administration should have to release all of their files related to Jeffrey Epstein that are inside the Justice Department. They described it kind of as a routine briefing, as you heard her saying there about transparency, that when members of Congress want to be briefed, that they should be briefed. Let me tell you, Brianna, it is incredibly unusual for the Attorney General, the Deputy Attorney General, and the FBI Director to brief a single member of Congress. They weren't briefing her because she was the chair of a committee on a pressing matter. If she wanted to talk about the Epstein files, and that is what they talked about, it is unusual to have that high level of Justice Department power sitting down here at the White House with a Republican congresswoman. But what also stood out from that is Caroline Leavitt is confirming our reporting that, yes, that meeting did take place.
Yo, so the person that just got sworn in had to sit with 3 powerful niggas, 3 of the most powerful niggas, and had to be briefed. What do you mean by briefed? What do you mean by that? Like they had to sit there and say, okay, this is what's happening. This is the agenda. Caroline, what's her name? Caroline, we got to figure out that her. Caroline, she's the reason for the word. Well, not in this case, but.
And of course, a question is the White House's effort to try to get some of these Republican members to take their name off of that petition, and whether or not it will be successful, that still remains to be seen. But to describe that as a routine briefing, it is certainly not, Brianna.
Yeah, and as you are certainly aware, because you've reported so many times on meetings, it's not unusual for when the president wants something from someone to have them to the White House for a meeting. So it's really interesting to see. That's something that certainly raises questions. Caitlin, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. Boris?
Let's get some perspective now from Dave Ehrenberg, a former state attorney for Palm Beach County, Florida. Dave has known Attorney General Pam Bondi for many years. He worked as her drug czar in the Florida Attorney General's office. Dave, thank you so much for being with us. Generally, I wonder what you make of the correspondence that we're seeing between Epstein and his associates.
Boris, good to be with you. I think it's bad for 3 people in particular. First, Donald Trump, because this is a story that won't end. It's not going to end until the files are released. It's a drip, drip, drip. And there's no indication that President Trump did anything illegal, but his association with Epstein is what it is. And he needs to get in front of this story instead of letting this define him, because he's sitting back and there's just a constant drip of information that makes him look bad and makes his supporters wonder what's going on.
I don't feel like Trump can get ahead of it, because how do you defend yourself that you were best friends with one of the most evil people in the world? And your best friend, your bestie, was also in the league with other villains. Like, what is... You know. You can't say you don't know. The Democrat lady that got sworn in? Thank you, Surgeon. Who we got? NYT reports that Donald Trump personally called Representative Lauren Boebert, one of the 4 Republicans who signed the petition to force a House vote on releasing the Epstein files. Her signature remained, and the petition reached the needed 218 signatures today. So they got the signatures. So they tried to bring her as in and pay her off? Is that what happened? Let me scroll down. Season Season finale coming up. Oh my God. We need the Epstein files to be fully released and redacted. We need names of the abusers, public hearings, and the televised. The consequences for those involved should be extreme. Good. No one Republican, Democrat, or billionaire should be shielded from this truth. Let's all see it. What's behind the curtains? Look at me blind scrolling on Twitter, bro. Ooh, what y'all gonna do? What y'all gonna do? Ban me, Twitch? You gonna ban me if some buoys pop on here? Fuck you. Ain't gonna do shit. No, you're not. You're not gonna do shit. You know why, Twitch? Because you will let an actual person who committed sexual assault on film be banned for a week. And then when they return, they show no remorse whatsoever. That's how you guys rock. That's how Twitch rocks. So y'all want to ban me if I accidentally scroll and show some accidental boobies? I fucking dare you. I fucking dare you. Oh my God. I am not afraid of Twitch. Trump called Bober like, hey, you up? Want to drop some files real quick? Trump calling Bober about the Epstein files sounds like the start of a Netflix documentary nobody asked or secretly watched. These are a lot of these are just whatchamacallits, bots. Guilt by association is a dangerous game. You need proof he knew. Yeah, so that's the thing. My guess is that they don't want just to have associations. Yeah, they're all bots. Most of them are all bots. They don't want just association. They want incriminating evidence. And if I'm Kash Patel, the FBI director, I'm sifting through a bunch of files trying to get rid of anything that's incriminating. The thing though is the files that you call them. Did this nigga not have video footage or tapes? Did this man not actually have like... I know this nigga was recording. I know this nigga has secret cameras in his estate. Where are those at? I don't want to see these Outlook emails. I know this nigga had cameras in the drapes and in the plants. The tapes got destroyed. The Diddy tapes got destroyed too. So the shit that would actually hard incriminate people are gone. By who? By Epstein? Are you saying that Epstein destroyed the files? Oh my. Who destroyed the files? Was it Diddy and Epstein, or was it destroyed afterwards? Crazy that the royals disavowed their own blood, but America won't turn on Trump. Prince Andrew wasn't rich enough. Prince Andrew didn't have enough allies. Because it's not about family or blood, it's about money and power. Prince Andrew didn't have enough. He was a liability. He needed to be peeled off from the crown. Nah. He was like a tumor to the crowns. Okay, so you got the whole crown. They're very, 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 very. It's very important. Did you watch the whole thing with Princess Diane? Okay, their image is everything. The image of the crown is everything. Everything. It's all about the iconicness of it. So basically, Representative Lauren Boebert, one of the 4 Republicans, there was only 4 Republicans that signed to petition. Only 4 Republicans are voting on release. Why are only 4? Why are they not? Why are people voting against releasing the Epstein files? What's the logic? What is the logic of not releasing the Epstein files? No, I want to know what they say. I want to know what they say. Why are Republicans against releasing the files. Epstein files vote happening next week. Oh my God, this is less than 40 minutes ago, bro. The speaker said he would move up the timeline after bipartisan discharge efforts succeeded on Wednesday. That's today. Speaker Mike Johnson said Wednesday he plans to... Where is it? I want to hear it from Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson. Or did he say it... Did he say it today? Johnson announced those plans just hours. He says here... Oh, sorry. Speaker Mike Johnson said Wednesday he plans to hold the vote next week on measuring mandating the full disclosure of Justice Department files related to the late sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. Johnson announced those plans just hours after newly sworn Rep. Adelita Grijalva. Adelita. The homie is Adelita. Democrat of Arizona completed a discharge petition mandating a floor vote on the Epstein measure. His is a quicker timeline than is mandated under the rules governing discharge petitions, which would require a vote in early December. So they're moving it up? So instead of waiting until December, they're saying, let's do it now? House Republicans are eager to put the Epstein controversy in the rearview mirror to the greatest extent possible as they seek to catch up on after losing weeks of work due to Johnson's decision to keep the chamber out of session during the government shutdown. They're expecting a mass defection of Republican lawmakers on the vote, perhaps 100 or more, despite Donald Trump calling the Epstein allegations a Democratic hoax. House Speaker Mike Johnson speaks with reporters. Wait, let me see that. Ooh! Here's Representative.
And joining us now is...
Here's Adelita to be sworn in.
Democratic Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva of Arizona in what is likely her last primetime interview before she finally takes office.
Congresswoman-elect, thank you for joining us. I guess my first question is, are you sure you're going to make it to be sworn in tomorrow? And I say that in jest, but in also all seriousness. You know, you are not here with us at the table. We are down the street from the Capitol. You are still in district. And given the catastrophic situation with flight delays and cancellations in this country and manufacturer crisis by the Secretary of Transportation, I would add, are you sure you're going to be here tomorrow?
I hope so. I mean, we're catching a red eye, and then if something happens to that flight, we have 5 or 6 options to get us there from Phoenix. I drove to Phoenix in order to have a more direct opportunity, bigger hub, because some of the flights that have been getting canceled here locally are those shorter ones. So I'm confident that we'll get there.
Congresspeople-elect, they're just like us.
Yes, they're just like us. And I would say, Congresswoman-elect Grijalva, I mean, you have had one of the most historic waits in American history. One that I think is fair to say very undemocratic. Your constituents have been kept without a representative way longer than they should have been. But you are also now defined by being the 218th vote on this discharge petition in regards to releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files. I covered Capitol Hill for 8 years, a discharge position, a little bit of the parliamentary procedure. If someone puts it out there, it lives for about 7 days. If you get the 218 signatures, then the Speaker of the House is pretty much forced to move it on discharge days and whatnot. It gets a little wonky, so I won't go totally into that. But are you looking forward to that being your sort of first measure of business at this historic legislation if those 4 Republicans stay on board?
Yeah, I feel it's really important for the survivors to finally have justice, and for those who are implicated in the files that they have their day in court. I mean, I think that's
chat. Bro, chat is not happening. Like, right? It's not actually happening. Right? This looks like things are happening. But I know better than everyone. I know that nothing ever happens. It feels like something's happening, but I have a feeling that nothing's going to happen. I'm still on team nothing ever happens too. I'm still on team the dude with the clock, the nothing happens. Oh, look at it. It's nothing o'clock. It's
Very important. And that transparency is important for the American people. That was something that Trump promised, right? When he was running for office, day one, I'm going to release those files. And then I think he got a big gander at what was actually in there and thought better of it. And it's very important that
definitely feels like
the
it.
survivors have that justice.
Has leadership spoken to you about how the schedule will play out for that?
No, what we have is through Leader Jeffries and Minority Whip Clark, just a rundown of this is the time you need to be in this area. As you know, I still cannot get into the Capitol without getting escorted in. And so I have to time that, but I plan on being there at about 3:30 DC time in order to be ready to go.
You know, Congresswoman elect, it feels like this particular Congress, under the leadership of Mike Johnson, has lost a sense of urgency for justice, for the rule of law, for procedure, a sense of urgency that is due to your constituents who elected you literally weeks ago. And it is not lost on me that the fact that you have not been seated is intentional. We just had Congressman James Walkinshaw here on the show, who is a Democrat who was quickly sworn in after he was elected in a special election. There are Republican elected officials who had special elections this year and were quickly sworn in. But they have played politics with you. And I just don't think we should lose sight of that.
Thank you. I don't think we should either. This is unprecedented. It's undemocratic, it's unconstitutional, it's illegal. No member-elect should ever be in this situation again.
So she's the only person who got a special election that basically got delayed into being sworn in as a Congress member because her vote specifically was going to give them the 218th vote that they needed on the petition. That like they were at 217 this entire time. And then they were like, well, she's 218. We got to delay her actually coming in. Bro, what's the defense? So now I want to know, what is the defense? What are like Republicans saying as the reason as to why this is happening? I want to hear Republicans. I want to hear what Republicans are saying. I want to hear what Republican or supporters or people who are, I want to hear what the other people, because I want to hear what they're saying. Like, why is it taking all this time for her to get sworn in?
Where 813,000 people are silenced because one person wants to play politics with, their swearing in. There was no reason I should be in this position. We had several pro forma sessions. There have been entire freshman class that were sworn in during a shutdown. So, and the fact that the Senate hadn't passed the CR has nothing to do with me.
If you have
all to give
video,
Speaker
let me
Johnson
know.
more time in order to try to convince one of those 4 Republicans to take their name off, or maybe perhaps waiting to see what was going to happen on Tuesday, because one of the winners, the new governor, is also one of the signers, one of the 217 that have signed. I mean, there's a lot of chess playing here, but respectfully, Southern Arizona deserves to have a representative that can.
Would delaying her being sworn in allow the Republicans to try to have time to persuade the 4 Republicans that voted for this? Were they stalling? Because they couldn't do it forever, so were they stalling in order to figure out how to add some time to delete some things? Bro. Yes, but I think they just mentioned that she wasn't the only Democrat that won a special election this year and just got sworn in. Like, it was quick. So she wasn't the only one. No, I'm not the only one. But she was the key to the petition.
Fully represent them. And I'm glad that that's finally going to happen after 49 days of waiting.
Damn.
There is, in fact, a lot of chess playing, and I want you to take a listen to what Speaker Johnson had to say when he was asked if he was delaying your swearing in, if it was all linked to the discharge petition.
What she can't do is go on the Hill and vote as a member of the Democratic Party to have the Epstein files open, which is what people bring up as a reason as to why she hasn't been sworn in yet. To that you say what?
Yeah, it's another red herring, total distraction. It's a moot point now. Look, the House Oversight is doing a full, in-depth investigation, and they're delving through the Epstein files and releasing them.
Luke,
wait, that was it?
The Oversight, you say, open with vote as a member of the Democratic Party to have the Epstein files open, which is what people bring up as a reason as to why she hasn't been sworn in yet. To that you say what?
Yeah, it's another red herring, total distraction. It's a moot point now.
It's a red herring and a total distraction?
Look, the House Oversight is doing a full, in-depth investigation, and they're delving through the Epstein files and releasing them.
Luke, you can go back and forth on a lot of this. What is undeniable is that once the Congresswoman-elect is sworn in, once she signs her name to that discharge petition, Speaker Johnson's in a stickier position. He is now going to have members of his own caucus who want to do a thing, who want to sign on to this discharge petition, and he don't want them to do it. So do you think that this discharge petition actually weakens his speakership?
I thought the Congresswoman-elect made actually a very interesting point about Mikey Sherrill and the possibility of Johnson trying to delay to when she becomes the governor of New Jersey, and that something like that could happen in terms of a delay. But if you look at the four who've signed on, Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Boebert, and Mace, I think Massey and Greene, you're pretty confident they'll stay on there. Boebert and Grace, maybe they jump ship at this point. But all that being said, if they do get the 218, he would have to, it will be front and center. The Epstein saga will be front and center, which is something that Trump hates. And we saw what happened over the summer. And there's a lot of, I think, consternation on the Republican side that if they try and move away from it after this undemocratic delay for the Congresswoman-elect, they keep delaying. What are you hiding? What are you hiding? And right now, if everything were to go according to plan, they would probably have the vote sometime, I think, in early December, looking at the calendar and how they're going to play.
So it's not early December anymore. It's next week. I think Speaker Johnson moved it up to next week.
Play it. So this could be quite the Christmas present for the Trump administration if this vote goes forward. All that being said, faces a very tough road in the Senate. Very little chance that Donald Trump would sign it. But it puts the question out there. What are you so afraid of?
And Congresswoman, what are you?
Bro, what if this got put up all the way to President Donald Trump to release the Epstein files, and at the end he said, "No, I don't think I will." Why would no? The guy that we are trying to figure out was a part of this is the president. He's not going to sign his own death warrant and be like, fine. He would only sign this thing if the files didn't have anything incriminating on him. That's the only way he does it. He doesn't go, all right, signs it. It doesn't matter if it's admission of guilt. It doesn't matter. Because if he doesn't sign it, he doesn't sign it. He can just say, it's fake news. Why would I sign fake news into the office? We have more important things to talk about, like this war. This war on Canada that I'm starting. That's right. We're going to war with Canada. We're conquering them. And the tariffs, they're coming back full force. Affordability. Like, he's not going to. I guess the only thing that it does is it makes people, what it would do is if it went past, and if it passed the House, and if it passed the Senate, and it got to the Trump president and he didn't sign it, then it would make midterms look very bad. Midterms, I think it would, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. You sign it, your name's probably littered on there with all your friends, blue people included. You don't sign it, wow, you're blocking the files of potential P files. I thought only the House had to vote for the files to be released. Well, this guy just said that it has to go through the Senate and the president.
If this vote goes forward. All that being said, faces a very tough road in the Senate. Very little chance that Donald Trump would sign it, but it puts the question out there. What are you so afraid of?
And Congresswoman, what do you think they are so afraid of? What do you think they are hiding by not releasing the Epstein files?
Yeah, we spoke to Chair Garcia, and he said, you know, this idea that they have all of it is false. A lot of it is redacted. They're not getting all of the information, and they're pushing for a full release as well. So much of this is like what is being hidden, and really,
Cerebus and the DOJ can also just redact it whatever they want on release. Also linked Mike Johnson response and have that Tool song link for you for covering Shadow Cell. Oh yeah, I forgot about that from last time. Yes, let's do that. Sorry, I forgot about that from last time. Yes, we do that tonight. But yeah, that's what happened too as well. Didn't we get a bunch of the Epstein files and it was just like redacted? It was just everything was redacted. Like you get the files and you just see nothing. It's just blocks.
it's going to be a vote of values. Are you going to protect people who committed pedophilia and raped children and women? Or are you going to say undeniably that's abhorrent and we're not going to stand by anyone who committed those kinds of crimes?
It's that simple. Protect the women and children? Don't protect the women and children. It's that simple. Why you gotta make it more complicated? Said, why you gotta make those things so complicated? So, that's the TLDR, guys. Okay. So, in summary, they have sworn in the governor of Arizona. She's a Democrat. She's going to be signing the petition. They're going to have the 218 signatures that they need for the petition in order to release the Epstein files in the House. It sounds like they were trying to get one of the 4 Republicans. They had a interrogation to talk to her, to one of the people there. She has not budged. So 218 files, the votes are there. And Speaker Mike Johnson is pushing for the vote, not until December, but as early as next week. Which makes you think, makes you wonder. And I wonder, if Mike Johnson is speeding it up as opposed to delaying it any further, does that mean they already have a plan? Like, they're like, okay, you know what? You want to do the vote? Let's do the vote. You know what? Let's not even wait till December. Let's do it next week. And I wonder if you know what is going on. It's just a bunch of schemers. Scheming. Wild thing, multiple victims came out demanding release publicly in a press conference with Marjorie Greene backing them up. Marjorie Greene. And that's where we would find Trump in Antoinette's ballroom to be so much more important. Maybe he's afraid of more stuff gets leaked before the vote. I think what they might be afraid of, is that it's not all the information, right? I think what they're afraid of the most is incriminating themselves. Because, like, I am not a political content creator. I'm only covering this because it's a big deal. I know everybody wants me to be politics so badly, bro. I gotta say, it is kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting, but I don't know, man. I feel like people who get involved in politics are miserable, and I don't want to be a miserable person. And I wonder, I don't know one single person that gets into politics and they're just like, well, I'm going to be a happy person. Goodbye. Exactly. I just want to be informed. You'll suck me under the desk midstream, then maybe you won't be so miserable. And I wonder, somebody get this man Jesus. Get this man Jesus. Somebody hit him with the Bible. Hit him with the Bible. You know, that's what it is, though. Politics is pop culture. And so all your favorite YouTube content creators and all these people who are moving over and talking about all the government is not because we've become more political. It's because politics has become more pop culture. Politics is now memes and Elon Musk and Doge. And that's what happened. Politics used to be just the shit that old people kind of got involved in. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, politics was old nigga shit, right? You kind of had some politics when you was younger. Maybe you was rebellious and you were fighting the people. You was fighting the power. You were at rallies, right? The people who were actually fighting for rights and politics and civil rights movements, they were present. They were outside. Does that make sense? They were outside making differences. Now niggas are inside talking shit and making money from it. But they're not out there. They're not out there protesting. They're not out there performing. They're not out there speaking. They're not out there fighting. They're not. They're in here making money off of what's happening out there. Cerebus, here's a Tool song for you. Appreciate it. Let me check this out. What was this? The Tool song.